Hi, I've got something you'll be interested in. Those performance upgrades we discussed after the last race. They're on the car and the data looks promising. Take a look at the details.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode, episode number 109 today for the Austrian Grand Prix in Season 6. We start off this episode with a brand new part fitted to the car, the engine crankshaft upgrade there. So a bit of engine power, the first engine upgrade we've done to the car this season. And really, it's a lot earlier than I ever thought we would in the Mercedes car, I'm not going to lie, because obviously being the Mercedes car, we did have pretty decent power. Although over the recent seasons with Force India, obviously we did a lot of work on the power towards the end of that season in Season 5. We actually ended up being only 4th in the standings in terms of engine power, and we're actually behind Ferrari. And so I think we've now just about nipped ahead of Ferrari. The fastest team are actually Red Bull, ironically, now, as they've done plenty of upgrades throughout the 5 seasons as an AI team. And also, obviously, when I was there in Season 4, we did plenty there as well. So I guess it's going to be useful for sure here. Austria, obviously, a power circuit, I think it'll come into play. Obviously, the reason why we did that was we couldn't do a chassis upgrade, which I will be looking to do hopefully at the end of this episode. Seeing how many points we have, we'll have to try and weigh up our options. Obviously, we do have the weight redistribution, which is going to come in next episode, actually, at the British Grand Prix. So that's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to that because obviously that's been the biggest issue of the car. The balance of the car has been pretty appalling, really, in a lot of races. Recently, it's been okay. It's gone a little bit better, but in general, still, the car's very shaky through the corner sometimes, very imbalanced. So I'm hoping the weight redistribution, obviously redistributes the weight, and hopefully that'll make a big difference. But we're going to move over into qualifying 1 then. All a bit doom and gloom, actually. In practice, it was raining. We had to wait till P2 and P3 to actually do some meaningful running and get resource points. And then Q1, it started all overcast, but we get through Q1, no dramas there. Ahead of Hamilton, actually, on that run in Q1, so that was good to see. Generally, around Austria, it's been an okay circuit for me. I think I've gotten better at it as we've gotten through the seasons. In Season 1 and Season 2, for sure, it wasn't my favourite circuit to drive, but I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it, these 2017 cars on the game. More and more, it's getting more comfortable as I do more laps around it. That's a definite, I think. So we move into Q2 then, a bit more sunnier as the sun starts to peak out, and we go across the line. At the moment there, it was the fastest time. By the end of the session, it ends up being second fastest, just behind Daniel Ricciardo. Extremely close between myself and Ricciardo. And also, you can see there, Sebastian Vettel, Verstappen, and the likes of Hulkenberg's, Renault, and my teammate Hamilton, indeed, not too far off as well. So it's looking like a very close qualifying. Obviously, a very short lap around Austria, so actually you would expect it to be quite close. And that's why it's also very much an engine-dependent kind of circuit. It's such a short run, the engine's going to mean a lot more. But as we come across the line then, it's actually going to be the fastest time in the session so far. Our engineer congratulates us on pole position. And by the end of the session, it is going to be pole position, as you can clearly see there. Number 1 on the timesheet. Absolutely awesome stuff there. I literally actually physically fist pumped it there once I finished my lap, because it was actually awesome to get pole around Austria. I didn't think it was going to come. I wasn't expecting much brilliant things from Austria as a whole. I thought we'd go okay, me and Lewis. Generally over the course of the career mode, me and my teammates have generally been very well matched. So seeing Lewis perform well in Q1 and Q2 was promising, but I did not expect pole position. But we've pulled out of the bag today to be ahead of Ricciardo and Hulkenberg, who look pretty damn fast. And so now it's a case of let's go to the full grid, and then we'll see if we can try and convert this into a decent win.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. It's Mercedes in pole position then, and starting alongside is Nico Hulkenberg. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Vettel, Max Verstappen, and Hamilton, Perez, Palmer, Ocon, and Carlos Sainz. Massa, Kvyat, Romain Grosjean, and Magnussen. Alonso, Stroll, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Marcus Ericsson. Raikkonen and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right, here we are on pole position for the Austrian Grand Prix, and much like the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, once again staring at nothing but our engineers and the safety car there, as we are on the front row this time, though, in the slot at number 1. But looking at our strategy, it's going to be a 2-stop, it's looking like. Ultra soft tyres, two sets of super softs there. That'd be the default one, and then we could go more aggressive for 3 stops, but that's going to take longer, and I don't think we're going to make up that time in the pit stops with that 1 extra stop. So we're going to probably go for that 2-stop there, obviously having to start on the ultra soft tyres we qualified from Q2. So here we go then to 5 red lights to round number 9 of Season 6 is underway at the Austrian Grand Prix from pole position, and it is a good start for us compared to Nico Hulkenberg. They're into turn 1 nice and calm under the brakes, and we're still leading the way as we go through the exit there. Hulkenberg being pressurized somewhat there from Daniel Ricciardo. So Ricciardo, he's slotted in behind, so he's in P3 with Verstappen in P4. They're going side by side with one of the Ferrari cars. Can't quite tell who it is, but there's a huge gap then from P3 to P4. So us three in a bit of a world of our own in terms of pace and just how we got through turn 1 then. I'm assuming there was a whole gaggle of guys going side by side into turn 1 on lap 1. We move on to lap 2 quite swiftly though. Speaking of turn 1, not a great exit for us on turn 1, and Hulkenberg now has got a great run. He's on the right hand side, he's right there, and he's got half his car aside, and under braking gets us. We go for an early brake, we go for this switchback move to straighten out the car faster. It does work out, we get much better traction than Nico, but now look at this on the exit, the Renault showing the upgrades it's been doing over the course of the last 4 seasons compared to its base version in season 1, and has the legs on us. We try to outbrake Hulkenberg into the next right-hander as we enter going towards the end of sector 2, trying to squeeze out Nico on the left-hand side. My former teammate going to give him the room though on the inside. We have to. He's got his nose in there, and he comes back on us. We're forced to the curbing somewhat, and we're still neck and neck. How close is this on the left-hand side there? As we enter sector 3, still going side by side. We've just got our nose in there and our front wing, and it's going to be a tricky right-hander now. Usually flat in qualifying, we have to lift off. We couldn't make that work. I could see that already coming ahead. If I tried to commit too much, that would have been some sort of contact and perhaps a crash. So we get let Nico go, and he's in first place now as he crosses the line with a purple time. Sergio Perez though setting the fast lap of the Grand Prix ultimately though, so the Force India going well, and of course we know the Force India's had some very decent straight line speed in the past races, so it would go well here at Austria. So curious to see how they get on for the rest of this race, but we continue on in P2 then, and unfortunately on the next 2 laps Hulkenberg just maintains that lead, and we're unable to really close up, and we're starting to fall back a little bit towards the 2 Red Bull guys, although you can see though Verstappen right at the chuff of Daniel Ricciardo. Down the inside the Australian will go, and he'll try and make a move to the inside, force him wide. There's been a bit of contact, and Verstappen is now gone down 2 places, and he's behind that Force India of, I think that looked like Sergio Perez there. He was the one setting the fast lap of the Grand Prix, so I would assume it is Perez. I still can't quite tell, but he goes down the inside, whoever he is. Yes, it is Perez down the inside. We've confirmed that now, and he's down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo. They go wheel to wheel, and now onto this kind of awkward shot looking behind. We'll see if we can see a flash of a Red Bull car slotting in behind. Yes, we can, and now that is both Red Bulls dispatched of by the Force India car. So good stuff there from Perez, showing great pace, and he's in P3, and he's looking very comfortable indeed in that P3, because he's actually starting to close up on me on lap 7 now. We cut a few laps later, and you can see the gap is astronomical to myself and Hulkenberg there, and I just don't have the pace at this point. This car is just not working very well now as these tyres start to wear out, and ultra soft tyres. Of course, we're doing a 2-stop, so we're going a little bit longer now at the moment then, and the pit stop is available, but because Perez is not coming in, the 2 Red Bulls haven't come in, and neither has the Renault, I'm continuing on basically because it just doesn't look like the AI coming in, and I don't want to be caught out making an earlier pit stop than I need to if the AI are doing something different now on the strategy. Move on towards lap 9. Hulkenberg is finally in, but Perez not in. Both Red Bulls neither. The same with my teammate and also the Ferrari cars. So it looks like perhaps the entire grid, barring Hulkenberg, maybe the 2 Renault cars, probably his teammate doing the same thing. Looks like those 2 are going for a 2-stop, but I'm almost being forced by the AI around me into a 1-stop because everyone's doing a 1-stop, and I'd rather try and defend my track position because I honestly don't think I have the pace to maybe come back at a 1-stopper with a 2-stop. But yeah, that's why I wasn't going to do the 3-stop in the first place, because I didn't have the pace to make up the time with that extra pit stop. So I'm forcing myself into a 1-stop. The tyre's really worn, 77% there on the left rear tyre. So we come in finally on lap 13, a lot longer than I wanted to, but as I said, now we are converting to a 1-stop. We're going to a set of soft tyres, and we're going to the end of this Grand Prix. Perez is in. I think that was one of the Red Bull cars as well, so all of us on a 1-stop. It looks like I haven't seen Palmer in this race so far, but I would put a lot of money on that he's also on that 2-stop with Nico Hulkenberg. We've seen before the Renault guys, they've maybe tossed away some good results having done 1 extra pit stop. So it looks like in general the Renault guys not great on their tyres. I mean, I'm thinking back to seasons 2 and 3 of this career mode. Really, we never did too much work on the tyre wear. It was never really a huge issue. We did a lot of work obviously on the straight line speed and the chassis weight of the car, and so that was never a department we really focused on too much because I thought naturally it was pretty good. So yeah, not surprising, but also a little bit weird to see still them doing that extra pit stop. But it does mean that we have been forced into a tricky situation because this one stop's not ideal for us. I didn't want to be doing it. I'd rather the entire grid be doing 2 stops. And then me also, with them on a 2-stop. It's harder for me to do a 1-stop than the AI, it seems, as plenty of these guys have done tyre wear upgrades, it seems. Obviously, we knew Force Injury have done. Red Bull have countless times before in the past taken their Ultrasofts, especially, so much longer than most people have. So on lap 15 now, we're behind Sebastian Vettel. And speaking about Sebastian Vettel, here he is a bit further up the road, chasing down. This is Daniel Ricciardo. Round the outside he goes. Unorthodox place to make a pass, but he's going to make it work the long way around. Gets the traction, gets the DRS open, and Ricciardo, I think he's going to have to just settle back behind Vettel. And up ahead is Carlos Sainz, who at the moment is doing a great job to be ahead of both these guys. But I'm assuming Vettel and Ricciardo will pretty swiftly come and overtake Carlos soon enough as we go through. There is a Williams car being lapped. That's Lance Stroll. And so then we've got Sebastian Vettel, who's already closed up now to Carlos Sainz, only a lap later. So very rapidly, obviously, showing off the pace of the Ferrari and Red Bull. But there they go. Lance Stroll gets out of the way with blue flags. And so is Vettel going to make a move? He does make a move to the outside again, opting for the long way round in a very weird place to make again a pass into turn 1 there. That and the next corner, turn 2. Very, very odd to do technically turn 3. Very, very odd place to make a move really around the outside. But Ricciardo now goes for the standard down the inside dive bomb, the Ricciardo-esque dive bomb, I guess you could say, and actually locks up. And actually Carlos Sainz puts up a fight and for now stays ahead of the Australian. So the Spaniard does really well there. The junior team staying ahead of the senior one. We haven't heard that anywhere before. No, definitely not. Ricciardo now tries it again. Second time lucky. Around the outside now at turn 1. That seems to be the place to make the pass actually, around the outside of turn 1. And he's finally made it. And so that leaves Carlos Sainz vulnerable for us to make a pass very, very soon on lap 21 now. Pretty simple move for us in a straight line, although you can see Carlos Sainz did squeeze us quite aggressively into the grass there on left hand side. We just have to kind of use the elbows a little bit and give ourselves a bit more room into the brake zone. But we are up into P3 now, and at the moment we were in rich mix, back to standard now, and have to be a bit careful on the fuel. Need to make sure we have enough for the end of this Grand Prix if anything happens with any kind of cars going slower due to their tyre wear. Although I'm not going to lie, probably that may be us having to defend with rich mix as my tyres will probably go off a little bit faster than some other guys. Definitely that Mercedes car not very kind on its tyres, and I'm looking forward to when we can finally do some tyre wear upgrades on the car. Speaking of though the Mercedes car, this is the other one of Lewis Hamilton round the outside then of Force India. You've got Jolyon Palmer there also, maybe trying to make it 3 wide. He will do on the left hand side. He's going to get squeezed towards the grass, but Hamilton on the inside there gets very, very close. And the Force India, I think that's Esteban Ocon going down the inside of Palmer, trying to keep that position. Doesn't work out, and so Palmer has made a double overtake there. Great start for Jolyon Palmer, and now Ocon has to defend very aggressively from Hamilton as he hits the grass. Will Hamilton make a move to the inside? I think he's going to go for it, go down the inside. It's a major dive from Lewis. Bit of contact's being made there. Hamilton looks to be on a 2-stop there. He's on the Ultrasoft tyres, so unorthodox there. Split strategy for me and Hamilton. Obviously, that's the default there from the engineer, so unsurprising actually that Hamilton's on Ultrasoft there. But you can see clearly everyone else, barring that Renault, also on a 1-stop like I am as we move on to lap 23, trying to just go as long as we can. You can see now Nico Hülkenberg is now into the pits and he's coming out now, and we're ahead into P2, but there he is just behind us, and by the time we end the lap he's already up our gearbox, so he's got that much pace in the tank, and so there's no point. Ricciardo is leading this Grand Prix on a 1-stop. He's going to the end, so, and Hülkenberg's got some lightning speed as we cross the line for lap 24. He's down the inside with DRS open, and on those super soft tyres just gets the grip completely. We brake a little bit early to give him some room, because if he can maybe catch Ricciardo, there is a chance that both of them, if they fight enough, maybe they slow each other up enough that I can come back into this race and fight. But you can clearly see how much pace Hülkenberg has, that if I was fighting Nico, there may not be a chance that I can really keep it. I may be ruining my own race and having a chance of backing myself into Ocon or Vettel or Hamilton or anyone behind Palmer if I fight Hülkenberg too much there. So I think in the long run, that was probably better to not put up too much of a fight and get the elbows out on Nico there. But speaking about fights, you've got the Force India v Red Bull battle, Max Verstappen, and I think that's Esteban Ocon then on the left-hand side. Verstappen goes defensive then, and we cut to the overhead shot. Verstappen's going to get that planted on the apex there. We go on board with him briefly, and he's up ahead of Esteban Ocon. Up ahead, further up the road, is a bit of a Ferrari sandwich then of Vettel, and then you've got Sergio Perez and then Kimi Raikkonen then. So Vettel at the moment got the better of Kimi and the Mexican, and Vettel going well at the moment. I believe he's the next car below me on the road in P4. We're in P3. There is P2, Nico Hulkenberg, and Ricciardo just lapped Sauber there. But you can see the gap difference. I was not even into turn 1, and now Ricciardo is through into sector 2. So those two guys showing some really great pace, and actually Ricciardo, fair play to him, showing some absolute awesome pace, and he's leading for a reason there, even though we were actually ahead of him before. He got a good undercut and then just showed the pace there. But that was Esteban Ocon, unfortunately retiring for his sake. It was a good Grand Prix for him so far, but a retirement there, unfortunate for him. But we move on to lap 34 with 2 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Unfortunately, you can see the gap ever increasing to Hulkenberg once again. Bit of deja vu from stint number 1. He's not even on the minimap anymore there, up ahead on the bottom left. And so it looks like even Hulkenberg doesn't have the pace to catch Ricciardo. So fair play, as I said again, to Ricciardo for keeping ahead of Hulkenberg even on those soft tyres. And you can see Vettel is rapidly closing up to us on the minimap behind us then. And so, as I said, we're probably going to have to use this fuel I've saved up to actually use rich mix to defend rather than attack anyone up ahead. But as we cross the line to lap 35 with 2 laps to go, that is Nico Hulkenberg out of the Austrian Grand Prix. Yellow flags. There he is, parked up on the left-hand side, and the message came up on our screen. So we're up into P2, being gifted it, and look at that. In hindsight then, that was amazing for us not to fight Hulkenberg. Can you imagine if we fought Hulkenberg all race long, only for him to retire, and so we would have wasted our own time fighting Nico, probably would have been backed into Vettel or Ocon or Perez or Verstappen whilst we were fighting Hulkenberg, only for him to retire. So probably good thing in the end, you know, we can now look back at that in hindsight. And so now on the last lap of the Grand Prix, the only worry is fighting Vettel and making sure we stay ahead. We've got rich mix, as I said, we're saving for the end of this race. We are going to use it at the moment. He's not caught us up the hill, so that's good. One final little straight though to do as we go through into sector 2. This is the last place really where Vettel may make a move. I don't think he's going to make one in a corner. I think we've got it just about straight line speed. Yellow flags though, so that's going to mean he can't make a move just yet, but we go into a green flag territory then, so someone clearly has made a bit of a mistake behind us, but Vettel does not get us there. It's Kimi Raikkonen, the other Ferrari car. He was in a sandwich with Sergio Perez, and he's out this Grand Prix in the last lap of the Grand Prix, so 2 retirements in the last 2 laps. So a bit of drama here at the Austrian Grand Prix for those two teams. We cross the line for P2. Daniel Ricciardo is the one that wins the race for Red Bull Racing at the Red Bull Ring, so decent stuff for him, and I think that will take him into the lead of the Drivers' World Championship. Of course, it was Verstappen leading the way. Ricciardo was in second. I was in third, I believe it was. I can't even remember from last episode, but now with that, I'm sure that Ricciardo will take the lead, but we may I think we will overtake Verstappen, because he was, I think, enough down the order in around P6 for us to get enough points with 18 to his, 12 or 10. But Vettel third place, myself second. I'm happy with that, but also at the same time, can't lie, I'm frustrated, of course, getting pole position like that. It's annoying, but it was very early on. It was key that this wasn't maybe going to be our race, having been forced into a one-stop. I wasn't expecting the AI to do that. I don't think my team were as well. The default for Mercedes was a 2-stop, and that's unfortunate because that's not the faster way round. The one-stop is if you're fast enough on the tyres and you can keep the tyres in range. I couldn't, so unfortunate there. But we do move into second place, or we do stay put, actually, it looks like, in second place there, so my bad. But Ricciardo and Verstappen basically effectively swap positions, and Ricciardo now is in the lead, Verstappen in third, Vettel stays put in fourth place, and the constructors, we stay put in second place there, but Ferrari now get back into third, so Renault will be kicking themselves with their retirement. Hulkenberg looking so good to get some momentum in this season, having overtaken Ferrari before, and now they are finding themselves behind Ferrari once again in fourth place. It's the case of, as I said before at the very beginning of the season, Renault, that car has the pace. Hulkenberg at least has the pace, but they just need to be more consistent, really, like Red Bull have been. And Red Bull have really been quite a dominant, consistent force, just always there on the podium, no matter what, really. But now, before we round out the episode, guys, looking at the R&D chart, you can see we do have enough points to purchase another engine upgrade, a minor one, but I really want to start working on the chassis. But unfortunately, we have to wait one more episode, obviously, as I said, for that major part to come in for next episode. And at the moment, we don't have the capacity in the team. We don't have the perk to do 2 at the go on the chassis side of things. So I was really tempted to just buy another engine upgrade, but I'm going to stick it out. We don't need it necessarily for next race, and I want to see how good the car can be with that major weight redistribution. And at the moment then, I'm going to save the points, honestly, because then I want to do the tyre upgrade for the next one, basically. So may seem a little bit odd not to spend anything on purpose here, even though we can on the engine, but I think long term, maybe that opens us up to do an early upgrade then on the chassis, if you know what I mean, because then we have a further bank of points base. Even after I do one minor upgrade, we have more points already left over to then quickly do the next upgrade on the very next episode, if you know what I mean. So that's the way I'm going to play it there. So guys, finally, if you did enjoy the video, smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been aarava. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.